So we're back here at the workbench to try and get a few of these things assembled together. And the first thing I'm going to work on is getting these brass strips, see this will be cut in half or thereabouts, into place, cut to size and then bent to fit properly where they're supposed to go. So we can actually start by putting our battery in, feeding our contact in, and that has gone home. Just to show you where it comes to. Ooh, this still is very stiff. Just sticks out like that. So what we can do is we can just cut this off where it is. Might have to remove it to do it. There we go. Put that back in as far as it goes. And then we've got this square recess down here that we can actually bend this terminal over. It'll actually bend twice. That stops it being pulled out by the battery, but it doesn't stop it coming out this way. But I've got a little trick to try to see if we can get that solved. So it may grip, or it may not, as it hasn't. It is pushed out. Well, that's okay. I wonder whether we can just add in a couple of little barbs, get them in the right direction. Just cut in a couple of little barbs. That hopefully will give enough of a grip. I won't insert them just yet because I have to solder to this. Let's just finish off the end so I can solder to this terminal here. So that I can now do the same with the other. So put the battery back in. And then this time we're going in through this particular one and cut it off flush. There we go, got there eventually. This one there, and then we just bend it over. They should be interchangeable. Both sets are the same. Yep. And we can do the same with this one. Bend it over the tab. I don't bend it completely flat, so that whenever I solder to it, it still has a bit of a spring to it. Just add little cuts which make a little barb. So I found a little bit of solid cord cable that's nice and thin, and because it's only a very short length, it'll be alright to go between the negative terminal and one of the terminals of the switch. And that will allow enough room for the other cable to come through that small hole. Now thankfully I've got my soldering iron powered up from my other old soldering iron portable station. This is where we burn our fingers a lot. Often need something to hold things down. Just don't have enough hands. I need something else to hold this down. It's not staying still. That's better. Still a little warm. We actually just need to straighten this out just until we've got everything put into place. Let's get it started. Curve this around so it comes out through here. Actually, no, I'm doing this wrong. This has to go in fully home. Let's just put our battery in. Seat this fully home and bend it over. Now we can feed the wires through. This is Teflon coated wire. It's really slippery. It's that wire through. Now we can bring our other cable and force it through the hole as well. It's a snug fit, let's say. So with a bit of jiggery pokery, managed to get these two cables through. Now I'm just about to press this tab into place, and then I can feed this cable through from this hole. This will be an effective form of a strain relief, hopefully. There we go. There. What I should have done, of course, I should have tinned that terminal before I put it in. So this is going to be a little bit interesting. I may not be able to show this on camera as I'm having difficulties holding this upright. But we'll see. I'll have to pull that back first of all. You may not be able to see very much. Right, turn the soldering iron back on. Really love just how fast this heats up, just from battery. Right, that's tinned. I can feed this back through again. So this is where it gets really interesting, trying to fit everything back down onto that. Didn't quite. Just don't have enough hands. Just add a bit more solder to this. Let's try again. And that time it worked. And because I've done that one first, I can just pull a little bit back out of the other one. There we go. So that's ready for wiring our switch, or soldering our switch in. So on this switch, do the right way. See here. We have the common terminal here at the bottom, and we're actually wanting the normally closed. So it's the top and the bottom terminals that we're wanting to solder to, so that whenever the switch is pressed, then it is interrupted. This is going to be another interesting one to try and fit everything in. Let's just tin these wires up and the terminals. Sorry if that was a bit out of shot. Get carried away and forget that I'm filming this. Ow! A little bit more than that. Right, now the fun part, trying to fit all these wires in. Thankfully we made that big recess in under here. It's just trying to get these wires pressed into and out of the way. beneath here. Might have gone in a bit too far. That appears to be that. Before we screw that in, let's just bring the old meter in. And let's see. There's no. So there we go. And then if we press down on the switch, it's not there. And the center positive. Hooray! Right, before we put that meter away, let's put a battery in. And let's just get that at an angle that folks can read it. There we go. Right. Shove that up the spout. 19 volts, and then the switch activates, and we have nothing. Brilliant. That means then we should be able to plug this in. Maybe slightly slower than with the Makita battery. That's it at full temperature, and then we press the switch, cuts it off, and puts it back in standby. And you can do it as briefly as that. Well, I'm very happy with that. There have been one or two mistakes, but we've managed to overcome them. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for other projects that I have in the pipeline. Bye for now. I almost forgot. We hadn't put in our fixing screws for our switch. These are just M3 cap head screws, machine screws. And while in the workshop, I just threaded the plastic, the front part of these plastic holes with an M3 tap, just to give it something to grip onto. I think that's hitting. I'll need to get a shorter one. It's now shorter. I just had the feeling that that was screwing into those wires at the other side. These are just to lock the switch in. They don't need to fasten. That's all. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.